All right. Well, let's have our therapy session now. All right. It's Friday. Everybody should be in a good mood. We got the weekend coming up. I'm gonna finish painting my bedroom this weekend. I got some stuff coming up next week. I need to finish painting the bedroom this weekend. I got it about 2/3 done. I go slow. I do an hour here, an hour there. So, hey, Dave. All right, buddy. Patrol, yeah, I saw a blurb about that. The Dolphins released Odell Beckham. Maybe he's been kind of useless. Hey, Daniel Berry, how you doing, bud? So you might hear a little ruckus in the background. Matthias is going to be here any minute. So a lot of times he's pretty loud when he comes in. Blow this up a little bit. I know it says the lesson to learn from this game is next time we have a late start, don't ask for it to end without overtime. Right? No, the other dog, it's if I wake up without a headache, we lose. The first game, I took the nap, I woke up with a headache, and we won. Then last night, I took the nap and woke up, no headache, felt great, and then we lost. So it kind of goes with the vibe of the channel, right? The more irritated I am, usually we do better. So maybe I was just in too good of a mood last night. We'll just blame it on me. Hey, Craig. We'll just blame it on me. Why not? Oh man, it's all right. Hey, thank you, Jameson. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Jameson. What you guys says if consecutive 4-0 losses in Vancouver leads to consecutive cups, I'll take it. Exactly. Thank you, brother. Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay, all right, yeah. That's Matthias. He's loud. So, yeah, we'll take it. What are the odds, right? Same exact result. I think it was the same day. It was either December 13th or December 14th last year. But when they give the results of the game, do they give the result based on the day that the game started or the day that the game finished? Right? Because the game started on the 12th and finished on the 13th. So Vincent says, do the Sharks tolerate dog shit like that? No. Cats, though. Well, let's see. What would happen if the Lion... Now, wasn't there a scene between the Lions and Sharks in the other guys? Didn't Will Ferrell have a whole thing about was it Lions and Sharks? Or sailfish or swordfish or something where the Lions I forget what it was, man. That movie was hysterical though. Hey, Penty from Tampere. Very good. Thank you. Craig says sick or too many strip clubs again. I mean, this is like basically third year in a row, right? Yep, home of Barkov. That's right. Barkov got a little bit pissed off last night. I forget. Did you see the glare he gave that one guy? Like, who are you pushing, man? But yeah, something happens to these guys when they get out west. Because every year we go out there, and I can only assume, I hate to use jet lag as the reason, but I mean, it is a real thing, but you would think that would affect them in the first game. But for whatever reason, we go out there and we can't score anymore. Lion and tuna. Thank you, LR. Yeah, it was the lion and tuna. That's right. I knew it was cat and fish somehow. Yeah, and then the tuna had learned how to stalk the lions on the beach or something like that. If you've never seen that movie, oh my God, the other guys, it's hysterical. Vincent says Maurice is playing a weird game with Mackey. It's crazy. Who is this Boquist guy and why? I don't know what he's doing, Vincent. Like the one game, you moving Mackey all over the place, and then you thought, okay, we're going to move him up into the top 9, maybe even the top 6, but at the very least, it's absurd that he's not with Lundell and Lusterine and creating chemistry to be the third line. That is just absurd. Boquist should be on the fourth line. And in fact, the fourth line was kind of better before Nosek came back, even though I don't know what the faceoff percentages were. But, having Boquist out there in the fourth line kind of helps make up for the fact that the defense is so slow. I have no idea what he's doing with Samoskevich and why he's using him that way. And if you notice, I've noticed this multiple times. Yeah, he's on the second power play unit, right? And I watched for it last night. And it doesn't matter what, he must have instructions from Maurice, because it doesn't matter what the situation with the puck is. As soon as the power play expires, Mackey has to go to the bench, and then the second defenseman comes back out. Because I think they're running 4 forwards and 1 defenseman, I think. Because last night I saw Mackey go off and Mikkola come on. So he must be under strict instructions. As soon as you see that power play run out, you come back to the bench. I don't know what he's doing, but the fact that he's not on the third line, it doesn't make any sense. It don't make any sense. Penty says, I didn't watch last night. How did Carter play? The team played a really decent beginning to the game. They looked engaged. They looked like they had their energy about them. And then it was 1-0, and then they kind of started losing their energy. And then Vancouver scored towards the end of the period. It was 2-0, and we never punched back. We never really punched back. Carter had a few moments in the beginning of the game where he actually fought for the puck and had a chance in front of the net, just couldn't score. But we only played hard for the first 8 or 10 minutes, and then we just kind of quit. Not so bad quit, but Vancouver played a very, very tight style. They were forechecking, back-checking. They were all over us, and we just never responded. Penty says Florida needs some D at the trade deadline, also some kind of depth player, some forward in the third line. Fourth line. I think we need a fourth line center. We have the depth if Maurice would use it correctly. We have the depth that if Maurice would use it correctly. Craig says Mackey with Barkey and Swaggy move Reinhardt to Anton and E2 to spark the third line, Boquist to the fourth. I'm all about that, sure. Especially, with Barkov and Swaggy. Boy, man, that would be a good line. I mean, it's eventually going to happen. I don't know what Maurice is doing. I don't know if this is it feels like some kind of college fraternity initiation that he's putting him through. I don't understand it. Vincent says Nosek is astonishingly bad after Stenlund. Yeah, no, we got an issue there. I was willing to give Nosek some time to get into the flow of things. I mean, look, for a normal team, right? For a normal team that's just happy making the playoffs, Nosek is fine. But we trying to win the cup 2 times in a row. The players that are, if we're going to win a cup 2 times in a row, there's at least, I would probably say 3 new guys that have to come in. Whether or not Zito can make that happen or not, that's up. We're not in the position to just get some rental like Tarasenko. We have, where it's like a bonus, right? We have some pretty specific needs. The defense is too slow. And what's Nola Chari's status? How's he doing on faceoffs? Because that was one thing that Rosado was right about. If Achari is good on faceoffs, if he can still, could he be a better option than Nosek? My problem with Nosek, or my concern with Nosek, should say, you saw me do it yesterday. When you looked at his faceoff percentages, it was really good. And then last year he dropped off by 5 percentage points. And then this year he's down by another 5 percentage points. So that's really concerning. Jameson says, so I was right about my prediction. Ekblad did score. Yeah, you were right. You were right. Yep. Penty says, I find it weird that Zito couldn't keep Stenlund and OEL. It was possible at least to keep some of these guys. money. There was just no money for it. If you look at our roster right now, we don't even have, like, that's why we had to send Samoskevich down when we needed to call up Drieger. There's just no money for it. That's why we lost Lomberg, because he went and got $2 million. Stenlin got a little bit of a raise. We just didn't have any money because we're paying our backup goaltender $4.5 million. We're already paying Bob $10 million, but he won a cup, so we're fine, right? But it's still a high price. But when you add in Spencer Knight's contract, and then we got a lot of high-priced players. Yeah, we have a lot of players that have taken good deals, but still, Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart. We had to pay Swaggy. We got to pay Bennett. Lundell got paid, right? And you talk about Rodriguez is making a few million. Mikola's making $4 million. Ekblad's making $7.5 million. And so all those little bits and pieces where maybe in a certain position you could get away with a player making $1 million less or $500,000 less, that all adds up to where this is where we are with the fourth line. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? But yeah, late nights. Vincent says Zito should have tried to keep one guy from the fourth line. He lost them all. I think Cousins was a mutual parting. The Stenlin, how much did Stenlin get? SoFlo says Greer, Boquist, Gadjo for now. I would be okay with that. That's at least a fast enough line, right? I would actually be okay with that. $2 million for Stenlin. So yeah, so again, like if we would have paid Stenlin $2 million, we technically could have done it, but then we would have been back in that. Remember back a couple of years ago, the first year we went to the finals, where we literally only had enough guys to put on the ice, and if anybody got injured or sick, we had to do like an emergency call up. So if we would have even given Stenlin $2 million, we wouldn't have, like every night now, Gadjevich is a scratch, right? So if we would have paid Stenlin $2 million, we wouldn't have room for Gadjevich on the ice, or excuse me, on the roster. And Adam Boquist. So we've got a reserve forward. We've got a reserve defenseman that's a scratch every night. Technically, yeah. Could we have played Stenlin and Lomberg? Yes. But then we would have literally had no room. And Craig's right, or Lorentz, right. But we would have literally had zero room. We would have only had enough money for 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. Anything, any kind of body gets sick, injured, anything like that. Somebody gets injured before the game, we're playing with 17. That's the situation we would have found ourselves in. So it's tough, because I think what Zito did was he figured he'd roll the dice on a couple of these guys, and unfortunately, he hit on Jesper Boquist. Fine, but in terms of Adam Boquist, I mean, I want so badly for Nate Schmidt to at least be a viable bottom pair defenseman. Some nights he looks okay, and some nights he don't look okay. Robert Smith says it's kind of embarrassing to be a Leaf fan knowing we got OEL, Stolars, and Lorentz from you guys, and they are pretty much our 3 best players. Right? Vincent says he could give Stanley 1.5 in Florida. He deserved a raise anyway. I know. But it's not our money. You know what I mean? I mean, in terms of the players, you know what I mean? Guy like Stenlin, there's a big difference between he never got a big payday, right? So a guy that's only hovered around the $1 million mark, it's a big difference for a guy to get 1 year at $1.5 million, and maybe how many years did he get at $2 million? It's for them, it's a big deal. Pente says, even though I like Swaggy, I still stand behind what I said. $7 million is too much. I get the argument that he's worth it, but you get a player like Rodriguez, half the money is the thing about Swaggy is the clutch. That's what you're paying for, right? That's what you're paying for. And let's put it this way. If we win another cup, because Swaggy wins another 2 games in overtime and wins games with another 2 goals in the third period, he's worth the $7 million. You're paying him because when you need a goal, that's who you go to. Craig says, Adam to play more could help him like we want Spencer to get more time. I mean, maybe. I mean, but the last few times she's been on the ice, it's not been good. That's the thing, Craig. It's like, it's not been good. And look, let's look at last night. It's 4-0. What did we allow? 20 shots, right? It's just we're allowing chances in ways that we didn't last year. Last year, was it the first goal or the second goal? The one goal where Schmidt and Balinskis both just like screwed it up and got beat, and Schmidt left his man open alone in the front of the net. Like if that's OEL and Montour together, or Mikkola and OEL, or Mikkola and Montour, that's not a goal. It's not a goal. Pente, no, he's got Pente's Bob got 1 more year. Pente, Bobrovsky and Knight's contracts run out at the same time. So there's that. That's going to be, there should be no conjecture about that at all next year. Their contracts run out at the same time. So I don't know what Zito's going to do. Vincent says, and we lost the shit stirrers, Cousins, Lomberg, OEL, hard on edge. The Rents was a presence. There's a lack of emotional endurance. 100% agree. 100% agree. Yep. Absolutely agree. Now, Greer can get into it a little bit. But, I'm sure Zito sees the same things we do, right? I don't think this year we're going to worry about, we're not going to be going for the luxury winger. We won't be getting a Claude Giroux. We won't be getting a Tarasenko. We're going to have to roll with the 9 guys that we got there. But I think one of the easier things to find, a speedy defenseman is going to be tough to find. I do feel like Zito should be able to pluck a upgrade at 4D from somebody as we get closer to the trade deadline and teams realize they're going to sell. If they've got a veteran 4D with a 53, 54% in the faceoff circle that fits us, I think Zito could pick up a 4C. The defenseman, I don't know how he's going to do it. Craig says, make him a 4th line forward with his brother, and it will be better when the chemistry. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Pente, no. We don't even have a 1st, a 2nd, or a 3rd round pick in this year's draft. Now, we've got next year's, right? But we've been trading away 1st round picks here for so long. We literally don't have a 1, 2, or 3 in this upcoming draft. I think we got something like 2 4s and 2 5s or 2 5s or something. We don't have anything in this draft. Like, we may as well just sit it out. You know what I mean? They may as well let me draft the dudes that we're going to be picking. That's how bad our draft picks are. Yeah, exactly. We spent it all, right? We spent it all. I mean, and I'm not complaining because we won a cup and Zito has done it. But, it started all the way back with Bennett. We gave up 2 2s to get Bennett, right? Reinhardt was a 1 in Levi, right? If I'm not mistaken. Then the 1 for Claude Giroux, the 1 for Sherrod. What did we give up for Tarasenko? What did we give up for Tarasenko last year? Yeah, the cupboards are slim. Hey, Trey. Somebody ban Trey. Do I have a mod in here? Hold on, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Come on, let's do this. It's right there. And now it's not going to do it. Okay. Penty says, I got you, Fluffy. I still can't get over that Tippett trade. Yeah, no, I don't. Don't get me started there. But here's the good thing about the Tippett trade. The good thing about the Tippett trade is that after all that went down, I feel 99.9% confident that Zito won't trade Sam Miskevich because he already got pretty smoked. Right? Let's be honest. I know Drew helped us beat Washington, but it didn't have to be a one and Tippett. We kind of got smoked on that deal. So I think that experience will make it much less likely that he deals Sam Miskevich. Vincent says, comparing to ourselves from last year, we were behind. Comparing to other teams' progress this year, we've had real issues to correct. No luxury sniffing around. Ekblad must be going. Do it, Bill. I just don't understand. I'm not saying you're wrong, Vincent. I'm not saying you're wrong, but who's going to give us a young, quick defenseman for Ekblad? Right? Like, who's going to do that? Why would they do that? I mean, I know the Ducks just did that for Trouba. It don't make any sense. But they're probably going to flip him, right? Pente says, I hope he keeps smacking, but if we get good value, then I would trade him. I just don't think we should, because when you look at the future of the forward group, but it's all a big Jenga pile. It's all a big Jenga pile. But I think Mackey fits what we do too much. I think Mackey fits what the style of play that we want. He even chews on his mouthpiece half the time. I think he fits what we want to do too much to get rid of him. Like Tippett is not – Sam Miskevich is going to be way better than Tippett. Let's just put it that way. Sam Miskevich is going to be a far more complete player than Tippett. Trey says, yeah, Claus should have been an either or. Sherrod definitely shouldn't have been a one. That's the one that really kicked our ass. We were just throwing them out there like candy. Trey says Cody Cece's on an expiring contract for the Sharks. That's a name. Vincent, yeah. Now that's a good one. Matheson for Hornquist. That was actually a good deal. Matheson needed a fresh start. His contract was not optimal. And what Hornquist helped with the culture of the team, he was like Tkachuk before we got Tkachuk. You know what I mean? I think the fact that we got out of Matheson's contract and Hornquist is still in the front office with the team, I think that was a really good deal when you look at the whole of it. You know what I mean? And Matheson needed a fresh start. Ivan says CC is trash, and this is coming from an Oilers fan. Isn't that the interesting thing, though? Like, any of the players, like all the NHL fan bases have the one or two players that they want to get rid of. And another, like somewhere else on some other YouTube channel, they're talking about, hey, maybe we could trade for Aaron Ekblad. Do you think he would help the defense? You know what I mean? Pente, yeah. Vincent says Ekblad's hurting the team on the ice, not only in the books. I would assume, Vincent, that Zito tried last summer. I have to believe that Zito at least made some phone calls to see if he could trade Ekblad. Because if he had traded Ekblad, we could have kept OEL and Montour. But we had a week, right? And that's the thing. We had a week, which it's a good problem to have, right? But what was it, 10 days? Was it even 10 days? From the time game 7 ended to the time I was doing the free agency stream? It was like 7 to 10 days. Right. Yeah, Pittsburgh didn't keep Matheson, so things happen. And the thing with Ekblad, though, is just like, okay, but now what? Right? Okay, but now what? Even if you traded him this morning, we don't. Well, what we're going to do? You're going to put Mikula with Forsling? Then what else? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just going by the players that we have, right? Kennedy says, imagine CC with Ekblad. You guys would lose your mind. Yeah. Yeah, Craig says Ekblad is second pair at best. If he just stays in the back and behind, he'd be okay. Like if Ekblad just tried to play like Kulikov did, he'd be fine. You don't see Kulikov getting beat because he tried to pinch, right? For the most part, CC with Ekblad. Jeez. Now, here's the thing. Could we survive Forsling, Ekblad, Makar, CC? Would we survive that? Yeah, Kulikov is solid. Exactly. So that's the thing is I don't know what you would do. Even if we got rid of him, what are we going to get? I don't know why anybody would give us a fast second pair defenseman for Aaron Ekblad unless they were stupid. It happens, right? But you've got to at least get a top 4 defenseman back. So what team has a top 4 defenseman that we would want and they're going to get rid of them and take Ekblad and trade? I can't. Oh, Nurse with Ekblad. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why don't we just put Jakob Kindle with Ekblad and just call it a day? Kenneth, I think that's why the Ducks did it. I think they're going to try to flip him. But I don't think he really helps us. He's not going to be in the top 4. He's too slow. The problem is the speed that we lost with OEL and Montour, right? They could come in on the rush and make it back in time. You saw what happened with Schmidt last night. He was too slow to get back. Trey says, I don't think there is much to do, but at the same time, nobody in the East scares me, and the West champion will be dead by the time they make it to the final. Get a taste of how life has been like in the East for the past decade. Yeah, Craig says no Trouba. I mean, we got to at least get a defenseman, though. I mean, if we have to go with Nosek at 4C, I think that honestly, I feel like the 4C, I feel like that would be an easier hole to fill if Zito wanted to do it. You know, could we have won the cup if Okposo was a center last year and he played the whole playoffs? You see what I mean? Pente, what do I like about Mikula's game this and last year? He surprised me. I think he surprised us all. I wish he would try to use his offensive ability more. I understand he's a defensive, defense first type of guy, but he's got some skill offensively. He's not, he's not Eric Branson. You know what I mean? He's got some skill, and I'd like to see him be able to use that more if we could get him a decent, solid pairing. You know what I mean? Trey says, I still want to try putting E2 back at 4C. Yeah, what's his face-offs, right? Like, I can't remember the last time I saw him taking a draw. Everything else would make sense. But what's his face-off percentage going to be like? Yeah, Kenneth says, can Spencer Knight skate backwards? Put him on defense. Oh, that was always my problem too. Was skating backwards. I could not. I was a massive speed skater. I could skate backwards, but nothing like skating forwards. Craig says Zach Wierenski from Columbus. Yeah, I'm gonna actually be doing a video over the course of the weekend for the members. I'm gonna do some cross referencing and see if I can't conjure us up a defenseman somehow. I'm going to spend a couple hours frying my eyes. I'm going to make a video for y'all for the members over the weekend. I just want to see, the names of who's out there, where they're ranked defensively, where their contracts are, the needs of the other team that maybe I kind of just want to do some investigating. Vincent says, I really don't think that's the way. We can't get top D during the season, but there are options of good value players. Let's call the second Kulikov and third Kulikov. That's what we need. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Can we just clone them? Forsling, Kulikov, Mikula, Kulikov. Can we just clone him? Just make a few extra copies. From multiplicity, how once you start making the fourth and the fifth copies, they get a little wonky. That can be the bottom pair. The original Kulikov with Forsling, the first copy with Mikula, and then the next two copies are just the bottom pair. Yeah, I'd be good with that. Idog says, I said it last night, take one defenseman off the ice and put Bob and Knight in the net at the same time. I had that. I can't, this is a stupid question, but that can't be legal, right? I guess you could have a defenseman just stand back there the whole time. That's probably legal. Pente, I would be shocked if we didn't keep Bennett. I would be shocked. I've already gone on record to say that if we moved Bennett to sign Ekblad, I would just douse all this in gasoline and light it on fire. Owen Power from Buffalo. I'll have to check that out. Probably not legal, right, Idog? But you could keep a defenseman back there. It's a shame. What's funny is, like, all summer long, basically our attitude was, well, if Zito says they're good enough, they're going to be good enough, right? And I'm not saying he kind of ran out of magic beans, but I hear what Trey is saying, though. And I kind of agree with him in the sense that with the roster we have now, I still think we could win the Eastern Conference. The Capitals could be a pain in the ass. If Vasilevsky or Shesterkin pull something out of their ass, they could be a pain. I'm not putting anything in the bank, but we kind of do well against Carolina. I don't know if you've noticed, right? New Jersey's speed could be a problem. That could be a problem. But I want so bad for Schmidt to be an answer. If Schmidt Kulikov could be the bottom pair, and Schmidt could just stop getting beat, and we got a decent pairing for Mikula, I think that's as set as we could get. Jay says, y'all are naming big names. We only have the assets to get a depth piece. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Trey says, all the threats in the East are in the Metro. We would only have to play one of them, just like the teams out West. Craig says Caps and Devils will beat this team in the playoffs as they're playing now. I don't know. And don't underestimate the experience factor. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, look at how hard Tampa was to finally put them to bed. You know what I mean? We're going to wake up and Zito's going to have pulled something off. He has to. It just can't be with Sam Miskevich. Don't completely, look, you just never know, right? We're talking Ekblad, this one, that one, this one. But we could wake up and he could have moved Spencer Knight and we get, if Spencer Knight continues to play well, that's a chip we could turn into we could probably turn Spencer Knight into a top 4 defenseman and a 4C. We need a backup goaltender, or you just, you just put Drieger in and you just cross your fingers. Bob is okay for the whole playoffs. And you have to deal with, needing a backup goaltender and the goalie of the future and all of that. But that's one chip that we have to play. Now, I would only play that chip if you had already decided you were going to move on from Ekblad. Craig says, keep Knight over Bob. I don't know if I'm ready to make that. Well, it's not like you're going to move Bob. Bob's going to win his. If we're winning a cup, it's with Bobrovsky. But there's also Guzda. How's he doing, by the way? Let's see how Matt Guzda is doing. We're supposed to get a bunch of snow next week. Let me see how he's doing. He's 6'5", 209. Let me see how he's doing. Right now, he's in the AHL. We know that. He's played in 1 game. What? Is that really one? No, he's played in 2 games. So I guess he's not. Is he hurt? He's played in 2 games. He's got a 930 and a 202. Anybody know why Guzda's not playing? Are they giving all the games to Drieger? Don't tell me they're giving all the games to Drieger. Well, so that's, we got a little whiles to find out if Matt Guzda is the future. How old is he? 2001. He's 23. He went undrafted. I don't think Matt Guzda is the future. I don't think he's the future. It doesn't look like it. Craig says Bob's been mediocre since Vegas crushed him. He goes through his times. There's no doubt. I'm not going to be concerned about Bobrovsky until he doesn't show up in the playoffs. That's my thought on Bob. So I'm not going to be concerned about him until and unless he doesn't show up in the playoffs. Trey says Leafs are solid and they play a better style of hockey now. But ask Ken who he trusts when the calendar turns to May. And I bet you he only says Willie. Vincent says, now that's an option. Knight wore out as welcome. Really don't like his attitude. Well, you watch the interviews and whatnot. So, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with that, but it is a chip we have to play. But we've just, it depends. It depends on how bad Zito really wants that second one in a row. And you got to move him to the right team. Pente says Florida's decor is mediocre. Even last year, it wasn't anything special. Look at Tampa's Stanley Cup roster and their Ds. I mean, I don't know, mediocre. It worked. It worked last year. Trey. I would trust Willie, OEL, and Tanef if I was Elite fans. I'm close to trusting Poppy, but I need a strong postseason this year to cement that. But yeah, the key to it is, and that's the other thing in terms of judging how the team is playing. Like last night, you saw what Vancouver did, right? I mean, they were all over us. Anytime we touched the puck, there was a man on us. Now, when the Panthers are playing their game, that's how we play. But you can't do that all regular season. And while we do need a defenseman, and I don't think that this is the case for somebody like Nate Schmidt, we've already seen that this defense, since Maurice got here, is not really spectacular if the forwards are not coming in and forechecking and back checking. And you saw the difference in the effort level last night with that. I mean, Vancouver was forechecking with a minute left. It was crazy. And so, even though it sucks to kind of watch us be just kind of meh during the regular season, we're still in first place, meh. And other than needing a defenseman and maybe wanting an upgrade at 4C, I think the majority of the rest of the issue is simply lackadaisical, inconsistent effort waiting for the real games to start. Bob's been clutch, even though his stats don't back it up. I think it's more the result of how Florida plays and how the D plays in front of him. To most extent, like there's been a lot of goals this year that have gone in the net where you're just like, there's nothing he could have done. You know what I mean? When Bob is playing poorly for real, he's letting in goals, 5-hole, bad angles, things like that. I think what's happening this year a lot more than would normally happen last year is teams are just getting a little bit more puck possession time, and they're getting a lot more traffic in front of Bob. There's a lot more fluky things like what happened last night and the puck standing up in the back of the net. If Bob is allowing bad angle goals and stuff like that, then I'd be worried. I just think we're going through it as a team right now, and everything is just a little bit off. Even the passes. If you watched us yesterday in the beginning of the game, our passes are just not crisp. Hey, Michael, he says, I was worried Vancouver would get to the finals last year, and that's the only team that has figured us out 100% of the time. Yeah, no, we don't want nothing to do with Vancouver. I will completely admit that. I want nothing to do with Vancouver. Jay says, well, like someone in the chat said last night, it was JT Miller's first game back. Lank is going to have to fight off Demko for starts. They're going to beat the shit out of whoever they played last night. Well, they did. They played they gave a lot of effort. They deserved that win. Michael says the guys that are running the Canucks have known the Panthers have been the team to beat and have quietly built a team that can shred us. Well, I think we beat them in overtime earlier in the season when we played them at home. But for whatever reason, when we play them in Vancouver, it's not good. It's not good. Vancouver's got to get to the finals, right? They got to get in. And so do we. Like, we haven't won the East yet. Vincent says it's a chaos in defensive structure, or rather lack of it. It was mediocre last year. It's terrible this year. Mike says, yeah, the Canucks were the best team in the league last year. Until Demko got hurt. Right. Trey says the crowd was absolutely electric. A JT Miller chant broke out for him getting a secondary assist. It was the perfect storm. Yeah, beat Calgary. I think that's the answer to this game, is beat Calgary, right? Oh, boy, hold on a second. Okay, I blanked out here for a second. And now the internet's crapping out on me. Am I still there? Can you guys still hear me and see me? Well, if you can still hear me or see me, here was the thing I was going to say, was that have we gotten to the point yet? Okay, thank you, Kenneth. Thanks, guys. Have we gotten to the point yet where we will say, let's leave Ekblad in Calgary and take Uyghur back with us? That's the question. Have we gotten to the point yet where we will say, leave Ekblad in Calgary and take Uyghur back with us? Vince. that if you answer yes to keeping Uyghur, then you know we're that's the line, right? Trey says, I kind of do want the Canucks to be the team that breaks the Canadian curse because they're the ones with all the American players. Got to throw them back at them when they always point out the Canadians on the U.S. teams. Jeez. Jameson says, can we ship Uyghur back to Calgary for the playoffs? So is that's a not really? That's a no? No offers on that? Michael says, I want the Canucks to win. Well, next year. They can win next year. Next year. All right? Let the Panthers have their 2 cups in a row. Let us have our 2 cups in a row. Next year can be Vancouver versus Toronto. Right? Let's face it. If we win 2 cups in a row, we're going to sleep through next year, right? Vincent says, I take that and I kind of hate Uyghur. But now, yeah, you think about it, though. First of all, Uyghur never played for Paul Maurice, right? So you don't know what Maurice could have turned Uyghur into. But if you could somehow take the stupid part out of the brain, lobotomize that 5% of his brain that does the stupid shit, and place him with Mikkola, I'm just saying. I know Ekblad and Huberdeau were friends. Don't they want to reunite? Kenneth says any superstar is about to go on the LTR IR until the playoffs. That's a good point. Doesn't Ekblad usually have his injury? Can't just you sprained your ankle, Aaron. Your ankle is sprained. You're like True. You woke up and you dislocated your shoulder. You're out into the playoffs. Yeah. Trey says, I hate Ekblad now more than I hate Uyghur then. Okay, that's not true. Craig says, Weegs might actually be good with Pomo, right? Trey says, now that I have Uyghur on my fantasy team and not my real life team, I kind of like him. Yeah. Oh, well. What are you going to do? Right? Damn it. We lost. Sucks that we lost OEL. I think this team with OEL, I think we'd be okay. Forsling, Ekblad, OEL, Mikkola, Schmidt, Kulikov. I mean, I would feel comfortable with that. Benji says, I wonder how many injuries Zeki has had in his career, like 30. He's fought through a lot. Let's just put it that way, right? Vincent says, well, next year will be better, so we have to really grind this season to make moves. Yeah, and like we've talked about, Vincent, it's just a Jenga pile, right? Just don't do anything that we're going to regret 2 years from now or next year or something like that. Just don't do anything stupid. Not that Zito makes a lot of stupid moves, but I don't want to trade Samoskevich for a second pair defenseman. You know what I mean? No thanks. No thanks. Hey, Bucks Rays. Yeah, Trey says OEL and Stenlin would be really nice right about now. Yeah, I think OEL and Stenlin on this team, and we wouldn't even be talking about needing somebody at the trade deadline. Right? I don't think so. Nosek can be the guy off the ice. You know, maybe you were looking at a seventh defenseman, but that's about it. Trey says, obviously, I want to win the cup this year, every year, but let's remember that this isn't the last year of our window. We have 4 or 5 more cracks at this. Yeah, I know. You're not wrong. Not wrong. But it kind of feels like we kind of have an opportunity at least to make it to the third final in a row. Like, we don't need much to really feel like we should win the conference again. You know what I mean? A little bit more speed on defense. And I feel like, we should be a team that, should be making it. Vincent says there's only one good move and only one bad move. Everything else wouldn't make a difference. Maybe. I mean, now I'm not saying I want this to happen. Don't take me wrong. But what if Zito decided that Samoskevich and or Boquist could fill in for Erod and you moved Erod for a top 4 defenseman? I'm not saying that's what I want to have happen. Not saying that. But I'm just trying to think outside the box in terms of players that we have. I mean, Erod does a lot of good things for us. Michael says Nosek is still recovering. He's good enough to move up and down like Erod, and Schmidt will be a monster when he stops fan gazing while he's on the ice. What was Nosek's injury, Michael? I mean, my concern with Nosek, like I said, is his faceoff percentage just dropped significantly from where it was 2 years ago. And that's the biggest reason why we got him. So what specifically are you saying he's recovering from that's hindering his play now? Hey, John. Sweet Tea, how you doing, buddy? Says the thing about trading Bob is, yes, he's a better goaltender of the night, but do you not think we would be a better team with a $9 million D-man? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but first off, Bob's got the no move and all of that, so I don't even think that would be a feasible possibility, unless he would want to, which he just. His wife just had a second baby. I don't see any circumstance where that would be. Now, if you're talking about during the off season, I guess it depends. If we win the cup again, I don't think you see him trading Bob. Michael says he had a similar injury to Ekblad, but is younger. Gotcha. Trey says it's modified, no move, 50% for Bob. Gotcha. Pente says Bob will be okay with $5 million per year after this contract. You can sign him for 2 years, $10 million. That's what I'm hoping to see. That's absolutely what I'm hoping to see. I don't want Bob to get hurt, right? And so until such a time as Spencer Knight has, really reproven himself, to me, Bob's the guy still. And the thing is, again, we're going to do trade him with somebody in the West. Only team taking that contract is a team that is trying to win now. Kevin says, as long as Buffalo was in the division, the Atlantic can't be the best out of the four. Yeah, I don't know if I would consider the Atlantic the best right now. That's tough. Let's put it this way. They have the potential, right? I mean, Boston and Tampa do have the goaltending. They have the potential. But then all the other teams are just stuck in the mud. Like Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo have just been like stuck at the exact same spot for how long now? Benedict says, Bob has gotten his money and he values great team and chance to win. It's not all about money when your career is close to the end. Also, his age makes GMs not throw money at him. Yeah, I would be shocked to see us move him at this point. Yeah, exactly, Craig. Yeah. Vincent said everybody on the team knows who's the most important player on the team. Well, it was somebody brought it up, Vincent. Somebody brought it up. You know me, I like to try to engage with all of the ideas, right? Ever since everybody said I was Cocoa Puffs for saying Huberto Uyghur, a prospect and a first for Kachuk. All the ideas are always on the table, right? Michael says Bob isn't going anywhere. Watch some of his interviews in Russia. He loves it here and will take a crazy pay cut when his contract is up to help the team. Yeah. Hey, look, Luongo played. I mean, he was still playing well at 38, 39 years old. He had that hip injury, and that became a problem for him. So again, that's why it kind of, you never know what Zito's going to do. I mean, look, backup goaltenders, you can get them, obviously, right? Look at what happened with Stolars. So, maybe it's a situation where Zito said, I want to hold on to Spencer Knight. Let's roll with Schmidt. Let's roll with Boquist. And now would kind of be like, oh crap, maybe that was a stupid mistake. Because you could fix most of what's wrong with this team with a Spencer Knight trade. And then you just got to, hold your breath during the playoffs with Bobrovsky, because I don't think Drieger is going to turn into Stolars overnight. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Yeah, no, Pente, exactly, right? Kenneth says it still sounds like a bad trade for Calgary, even though it already happened. Oh, that was such a beautiful day. All the different opinions. There's so many comments on that video that saying that the Panthers got robbed. What is Zito doing? We've destroyed the team. There was people that believed in the trade too, but that was just such a crazy day. That I could only dream that this channel would have another day that crazy. Unbelievable. Yeah, Calgary fleeced us. Yeah, exactly, Trey. Right? Michael, I agree with that. I just don't want to say it out loud and jinx it. Night for the cord. What's my thoughts? No, if it's going to be night and a night for the cord a top 4 defenseman and an upgraded Forest C, we haven't seen Drieger play though, right? He hasn't been on the ice, right? How's he doing? How's he doing in the AHL? Since Matt Guzda's not playing, I assume that they're giving Drieger all of the ice time, right? So he's 30 years old. Let's see how Drieger's doing in the AHL and see. Wait a minute. Why do they not even have him with? Oh, I see. Those are just, come on. Show me his AHL stuff. Show me his AHL stuff. All leagues. Okay. He is with Charlotte, obviously. He's only played a few games. Oh, God. Michael says we should have traded Knight for Blackwood. We missed. So Drieger's not the answer. Who is starting in Charlotte? Because Guzda's only played a couple of games. They've given Drieger was that 9 games? So Drieger has started 9 games. He's 5-3 with a 3.43 goals against and an 8.76 save percentage. So Drieger's not the answer at all. So much for the Spencer Knight trade talk. Damn. Jeez. So why are we playing him over letting Guzda develop? Why is the cupboard so bare? Where's the other goalie? Didn't we have some other goalies? He must not be playing for the Checkers, right? Damn it. Bucks Rays, OBJ was kind of useless. You know what I mean? He was kind of useless. He never could run the right route. Trey says Sharks weren't going to take another young goaltender that would be in the way of Askarov. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Damn, so we can't trade Spencer Knight because Chris Drieger ain't it. So I guess, so you need Spencer Knight. Come on, Toronto. Spencer Knight for Stolars, OEL. Do they have anybody that would be better than Nosek for 4C? Come on, Toronto. This is a good deal for you. Knight for Stolars, OEL. And who do they got that could play 4C that would be better than Nosek? Meadow says Bob and I are both sub 892, not much better. Yeah, but at least it's in the NHL, right? At least it's in the NHL. That Drieger's batting 150 in the minor leagues. Shit. Yeah. Lawrence. Okay. Wouldn't that be some shit? Yeah. Spencer Knight for all our players back. Spencer Knight for all our players back. You can have Spencer Knight. We want Lawrence. We want OEL. And we want Stolars back. Damn it. It's funny because that's kind of the trade we made, right? We kept Spencer and then we couldn't sign any of those guys. I know 890 is not good, Metal. No, I know. It's bad. It's really bad. It's unfortunate. I don't know what the hell, but it's early. It's only 30 games in, right? If Bob finishes with like a 289 and a 906, right? Pente says, yeah, it still sounds worse than it really is, right? Kenneth says, if you hit that one, I'm joining you as a Panther fan. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, look at it this way. I wouldn't say that would guarantee we were going to win the cup again, but it would put us in a pretty damn good position to win the cup again. And then you Leaf fans could finally move on from Wall getting hurt every 5 minutes, and you've got your goalie of the future. I think it's a fair deal. All right, everybody. I'm gonna go. I gotta go. I gotta hit up with Matthias, check in on him, and go do my pack and ship and start painting my bedroom. Now we don't have a game tonight. We have a game tomorrow. I'm not gonna be live at noon tomorrow, but I am gonna have a video out for the members tomorrow. Okay, I will have a video out for the members tomorrow, and I think maybe I'll make it like members first or something like that. We'll see how it goes. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. I had a good time as usual, and go get some rest. Everybody go back to sleep now.